Hey guys, it's Dan.
And Carrie.
We hope you are having an amazing day, and something that we just did for our team to bring a little bit of levity and lightheartedness and just joy to them as we're going through the COVID-19 crisis here is we brought on JP Sears to start our team meeting. So we wanted to share that moment with you.
You guys are going to get in some laughs, so definitely check it out.
All right, guys, the excitement is almost done. We know there's a lot going on, so we wanted to bring on someone who is an expert in everything: sales, marketing, coronavirus. He's recently put out tips on what to do if you run out of toilet paper. He put out something today on 6 ways to practice safe sex during coronavirus. So we're happy to bring on JP Sears. Let's give him a big welcome.
Woo!
Dan, thank you for having me, brother. It's an honor to be here. And as someone who has never sold anything in real estate, I look forward to sharing with everybody exactly how they should be doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. Well, what would be your biggest piece of advice to real estate agents who are dealing with clients that might be nervous about making a big purchase right now?
Yeah, from my heart, I would recommend everybody does their best to make their clients more nervous, because we all know we make the best decisions when we're not only nervous, but maybe even panicked. And like now is a great time to do that. Panic is synonymous with motivation, obviously. Now, I've been studying the fine arts of panic induction for a while now. So I'd like to share with everybody a few key tactics on helping people panic more during this time. One thing I'm recommending everybody does is coach your clients to breathe more shallowly and like even hold their breath at times. And when they are breathing, breathe really rapidly and shallowly. When you combine that, and this is kind of like NLP, but when you combine that also with a tactic where I like to ignore what's happening right now in front of me. And then just imagine worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario during this time? Okay, your children are dead. And then pretend that's happening right now. And that whole technique, it helps trap the fear, stress, and nervousness in the body so it stays there instead of leaving.
All right, that's
Wow.
that's a great tip.
Dan, I didn't see you write that down. Did you want to take notes, or do you already do that? Or
We've got it recorded, so we can go back and really practice every single word that you give us right now.
You're welcome.
What would you say to if you were an agent right now and you had a client that wanted to put off this decision to buy a house, what would you say to them right now?
Yeah, I would go to their heart. I would ask them, first off, do you care about your family? Just really get into their heart. Do you care about your family? Do you want your family to be homeless? Because if you realize if you don't get this house now, someone else is going to get it and you're going to be homeless. And do you really want to do that to your kids? Do you want to do that to your spouse? So if not, then let's make a deal here. So I think we all know the best way to coach people into buying is to make them incredibly fearful, because it's the most loving way to get our clients to act from their heart, based on my research.
Carrie, do you have any questions?
Well, JP, I always feel incorporating essential oils into the sales process is a good decision. What are your thoughts on that?
99% of all sales incur because of essential oils. Nothing to do with what you're selling or actual sales techniques. So a lot of people just think oh, I'm like an effective selling agent. No, essential oils are doing it. Vision boards account for the other 1% of all sales. And on that note, Carrie, if I might add, because essential oils have a fragrance to them, and we're living through a challenging time that can screw up the fragrant effectiveness of our essential oils, because we all know we're living during the toilet paper apocalypse. You know, the number one issue that people are facing present day is running out of toilet paper. Now, when you do, no matter how many essential oils you have on, people ain't going to smell them. They're going to smell where the sun doesn't shine. So I've come up with some strategies that I think will, without a doubt, help everybody online with what to do when you run out of toilet paper, because it's going to happen. The first of the encyclopedia full of strategies of toilet paper substitutes you can use is kale. You know, the health conscious community has viewed kale for years now as a nutrient dense food. However, everybody who knows anything about what good food actually tastes like knows that kale tastes like crap, which makes it the perfect match for the exact hygienic situation you've got where the sun doesn't shine. Plus, the structural integrity of kale that you know makes it actually fatigue your jaw when you're eating it, and makes you feel like you're losing part of your soul when you're eating it. It gives it a stronger structural integrity than the leading brand of actual toilet paper. So I'd like everybody to just consider that. And if I could, Carrie, can I share one more tip?
I would love you to, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for loving the tips that I'm sharing. And this is actually, I think, a way we can upsell houses. I'll tag that on in a second after the tip. Yet, if you don't have kale around, you're out of toilet paper, you likely have a garden hose. Now, people in France and other condescending countries have long known about the upper class artistic art of shooting water at their contaminated anuses through what they call a bidet. Now, if you're like me, you've never used a bidet before. Aside from that time, I thought it was a drinking fountain. But your garden hose in your backyard becomes your very own bidet. After you do your business inside, what you want to do is waddle out to your backyard in such a way that minimizes your butt cheeks smearing your anal mud mask all around your brown eye. Then you turn your garden hose on high and you're all set. Now, the fact that the garden hose bidet elevates your social class while it cleans your ass makes it the perfect complementary to the toilet paper apocalypse. And with homes you're selling now, like when you look at, okay, the backyard has a garden hose, awesome. That means the home comes with a bidet, which in my book is also an extra bathroom. And that feels like $100,000 increase in the value of the home.
Certainly. Yeah.
Carrie, how often have you used both of these tips?
Well, so, you know, I'm really glad you asked that. I studied abroad in Argentina in high school, and I didn't know what a bidet was, so I was using it as a foot bath. And shockingly, my host mother, I left the door open because I thought everyone used it as a foot bath. And she walked by the bathroom and she's like, didn't speak a word of English, started like yelling at me in Spanish, trying to understand what I was doing, putting my feet in the bidet.
It sounds like she hates America, the fact that she was unwilling to speak English in her home country.
Oh, funny.
So what other questions do you guys have for JP? Let's open it up to the crowd here, because I mean, he is a sales guru.
There's a good one in the chat. Is kale fluffy?
Jonathan, a lot of people these days just, they don't want to talk about real estate. Some people, they just hang up on you.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit discouraging sometimes. So how do you capture their attention?
Yeah, you know, online, in the online world, we use Clickbait. So I'd recommend taking that online wisdom to the real world and using Clickbait. So you can call someone up and say like, hey, do you want to see a naked photo of someone? And they're like, what? Well, you got their attention. Well, let's make a deal. Or, hey, do you like funny cat videos? They're like, yes. Well, I don't have one, but what I do have is a house to sell you. that can house cats, if you have cats.
Great advice. Thank you.
You're welcome, Danny. Just digest that, process that for a little while.
I saw you're living in Austin.
I am, yes.
Yeah, I'm from Austin. So
Are you here in Austin right now?
no, I live in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay, yeah, it felt like you weren't here.
DP, do you have any tips and tricks on how we can all stay healthy so our clothes still fit when all this is said and done?
Yeah, you know, my biggest health tip right now is buy a casket. It is the only thing any of us can do, and because I'm not sure if you know about me, I'm an online influencer, so I do have a sponsorship with all the local casket dealers. So just use the discount code DEADAF at your local casket dealer. And, you know, I think it's the most proactive thing any of us can do for our health at a time like this. #optimism.
One of our agents, Jonathan, would like to know if you'd like to purchase a rental property in DC. Timing's good, man.
I don't. Jonathan, I feel like I haven't been in your sales funnel long enough to be in rapport with you, or what the French call rapport. So, you know, I feel like what I want first is like a free offer that, you know, compels me to opt in and give my email address away so that I can resent when I get emails at you for a little while so we can warm up to each other. And then, Jonathan, I'd like to be upsold into a few things, like maybe first a backyard shed, probably not even in my backyard. And then, Jonathan, potentially I'd be ready to buy a house or a rental property. I wasn't paying attention to the original question, Jonathan, as you can tell.
Who else has one?
Dan introduced him by saying he's going to talk about having safe sex during this COVID-19 virus. So can you speak to that, Jonathan? How do you propose we do that?
Yeah, well, I think to be responsible during Dan's team meeting and cross all sexual harassment lines at a time like this. I do have some safe sex tips during the coronavirus, and just happened to put out a full instructional video yesterday. Now, it turns out having sex is actually the safest thing you can do during the coronavirus because it's not sexually transmitted. The irony of that is it's transmitted if you're within 6 feet of someone. So one of my safe sex tips is, you know, of course, we start with foreplay. You can still touch your partner with consent. #it's 2020. But I recommend putting a rubber hand at the end of an 18-foot pole because you have to practice social distancing while you're practicing safe sex. So I recommend being at least 18 feet away from your partner during all sexual activity. You know, another tip that my wife loves, in spite of what she tells me, is, you know, no longer are we able to give each other sensual oil massages during this time. But what we can do is put on full hazmat suits and give each other hand sanitizer massages, which is a beautiful tantric practice. It's very bonding and it's very disinfecting. And lastly, if I could go this far, if you do break the rules and have actual intercourse during this time, which, by the way, intercourse is a word that nobody who has actual intercourse ever uses, but I digress. But if you do, we have to realize post-coital cuddling is 100% out of the question. It's too dangerous, which is kind of like, thank God, right, man? But instead of post-coital cuddling, what I recommend is a post-coital decontamination session in your backyard. So you get out the old garden hose bidet and hose each other off. And we kept that as PG as we possibly could because I respect everybody online here. Don't want anybody fired or massive lawsuits. Minor lawsuit means it's been a good day, but massive lawsuits, that's kind of a bummer, isn't it?
Jonathan, with all of us working from home right now, how do you recommend we stay focused when it's easy to get distracted?
Oh yeah, don't wear pants. I assume nobody on Zoom, as I'm looking at, I assume nobody has pants on just like me, but you dress up from the, belly button up. And, to me, because from the waist up, you still look like if you're going to work or going out showing houses, that's what's going to keep you focused while you're kind of casual elsewhere.
Excellent tip.
Hey, Jonathan. I've been washing my hands a lot and my hands get really dry, but the moisturizer isn't working. Any tips on how to fix that?
Yeah, don't stop washing your hands, because if your hands are always wet, they'll never be dry. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
100%.
JB.
Yeah, all of this is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Channeling most of this.
JB, what about mindset? How do you stay mentally healthy while you're being indoors and during all this?
Yeah, well, I'd love to share a thought on that, and I'd also like to kind of take a step for a moment out of the comedy and satire, and because it's such a beautiful question. And for me, the mindset, just to be serious for a second, I think we're living in a time where it's never been a more potent time to double down on our purpose. I know everybody on the line here has a purpose. And if you don't have your purpose written down, I think you owe it to yourself to write your purpose down. Like, why are you here in life? And like, what's the higher purpose of you working with people to get their dream home? And then for what I'm doing every morning, I'm encouraging everybody to do is review your purpose out loud every morning. Here's why. Purpose always trumps panic. When we all need to feel something. And if we don't have something really fulfilling like purpose to feel, water finds the path of least resistance. And during this very weird time we're in, panic is the easiest sensation to feel. And we're going to feel that. We're going to succumb to panic, which we can all agree is probably the lousiest mindset, especially when we're looking to make important decisions, especially if it's a dangerous time. That's the last time we want to panic. Like, panic never helps anybody make great decisions. That's why in the olden days when there was a fire at a movie theater and someone would yell fire, they found, well, that was actually deadlier than the fire, because the panic never helps everybody make good decisions. Horrible mindset. But we'll succumb to panic or stress or nervousness if we're not feeding ourselves the high-class nutrient quality sensation of purpose. I'd imagine all of us, we've all had a moment that we can remember, probably many of them, where we just felt so on purpose. Maybe you were in the flow state, maybe you just closed the deal and it just felt so effortless, and you remember that feeling of being fulfilled. Then you compare that feeling to panic. We realize, like, of course I'll choose purpose. That's way more fulfilling. That's like having a beautiful bounty of organic, sustainably farmed organic food just right there. It's so nourishing. But compared to panic, that'd be like going back to eating moldy junk food. It's like, no, of course I'm not going to do that. When I wake myself up and remind myself to stay on purpose and dial into my purpose every day. And by the way, I would just preach into the choir probably, and it's my delusional opinions from my blue-eyed, red-haired perspective. Yet I would also say, everybody here, you have family around you, you have friends around you, you have clients around you, you have your community around you, and they need stability. They need people holding the light now more than ever. And we become that stable light holder when we're on purpose. When we're more succumbing to the stress, the panic, then we're not helping anybody. We can actually be making the forest fire a little more flammable. So for me, shifting into the mindset of purpose over panic is that's my mantra right now. And if that vibes with anybody online, I would invite you to take from that anything that appeals to you and run with it. And if it doesn't vibe with you, then flush it down the toilet. And
That's
Isabel,
perfect.
thank you for letting me go in, when my heart said, like, yeah, let's speak from the heart on this.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate your time and giving us some lightheartedness and some great inspiration as well. So we thank you for that. And, everybody who's on the call, if we could just take a moment to smile or cheer, act excited, or just give JP some gratitude back for what he's provided today. That would be amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you very much. And I follow you on Facebook, but you might tell everybody where to follow you. It's funny, it's hilarious, it's great.
Thank you for being my sales agent, Danny. I appreciate that. Yeah, on all my
address
social
there.
medias, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I'm at Awaken with JP and put out comedy videos all the time. So if you care to follow me, Awaken with JP. If you care to ignore me, don't go to Awaken with JP. And thank you all for your appreciation. Dan, thank you for being just playful enough to invite me on to this wonderful community of people. I know y'all are doing purposeful stuff. So the fact that you'd invite me on to bring a little levity and join the community for a little bit this morning means the world to me.
JP, can I just say something really quick? I think I've watched like every video you've ever put out. I'm a mega fan. You guys, if you need to lighten your day, just like put in your calendar every couple hours, I'm going to watch one video. And I would like to recommend the essential oil video first, which is why I brought it up. Like some of that stuff, I've watched the same videos like 10, 15, 20 times. I just laugh. And Dan and I came to see you when you were in Arlington. I'm sure he told you that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So we're super excited you were here. And Dan, I'll pass it back over to you, but I just had to tell him I'm basically obsessed with you, JP. I think you're hilarious.
Yeah, well, thank you for projecting that mental disorder of obsession onto me, Carrie. I love that. You're so dear. I love that, Carrie.
Dan, you want to close it out?
Well, no, just everyone follow JP if you want some levity or humor or something to just brighten your day. And once again, JP, being on and giving us a little bit of a break for a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Such
JP.
a joy. See you guys. Have a great day.
So what do you guys think? He's hilarious, right? We hope you enjoyed it. And if you're looking for a team that brings laughter to any time, but also is intense and focused on generating more income for you, definitely get in touch with us.
And if you want coaching or want to learn more about how we're helping real estate agents all across the country, check out what we're doing at HyperFast Agent.
Bye guys, see you soon.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you want to see more, click right here. And if you want 100 real estate tips from my best-selling book, click right here to download them instantly. And if you're new to this channel, click below to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out. And leave some comments about what you think on the videos. I read them all each week, and I select winners to give out hats, shirts, coaching calls with me, and tickets to some of our events. I'll see you next time.